Monster Jam fans, welcome out to El Paso, Texas at the UTEP Sun Bowl for Monster Jam 2022 Week 9 as Stadium Championship Series Yellow rolls in for two great shows in the Lone Star State of Texas. Let's meet the drivers competing right here in these two events. We've got an action-packed lineup as we have all year long right here on Stadium Yellow. Starting us off from Team Throttle Monster, your two drivers representing that team. First up, we have Mike Christensen in Vendetta. He is also joined by Paul Jensen in Jurassic Attack. Those two guys have been having fun all season long. Then from Team Scream, we have Craig Champion in El Toro Loco. He is also joined by his teammate Preston Perez in Axe. Then the next two drivers, also Team Scream members. We have the leader of Team Scream, that is Jim Kohler in Avenger, running the green body this week here in El Paso. His teammate Corey Rummel is also here driving Megalodon. Barney Moose Sour in Zombie has been a great driver all season long, always a threat for all three competitions. And Charlie Balkin in Monster Mud has just been an absolute story this season. Getting into the Final Four, Kayla Blood gets herself in the Final Four for the first time of 2022 because why not? She has been absolutely dominating these last couple of weeks in Soldier Fortune. Tyler Menninga in Gravedigger has struggled recently thanks to truck problems, hoping for a good week. Camden Murphy in the Bakugan Dragonoid's been really good and consistent lately. And Ryan Anderson is here in Son of a Digger, and he continues to dominate this tour as he holds the lead on this tour as you see him entering the track right now. After intros, we will get right on into Monster Jam Racing, where these 12 drivers will go head-to-head in a racing bracket to fight for 12 points.
Tyler Menninga, Gravedigger!
Now we shuffle into Monster Jam Racing. Barney Moose Sour and Zombies in the near lane, and Craig Champion and El Toro Locos in the far lane. Moose Sour is 3-0 against Craig Champion in their Monster Jam career. Moose Sour currently with a big lead entering the final turn. It's a very dusty track in El Paso, so a little bit of different conditions for these drivers. And Barney Moose Sour handles him like a champ and is off to round number 2. Big win for Barney Moose Sour here in round 1 as he continues to fight for points. We slot into the second race of round number 1. Preston Perez in Axe takes on his teammate from Team Scream Racing, Corey Rummel in Megalodon. They are off. Let's see who can take down the other. So far, Corey Rummel has himself a lead. He hits that turning bump, but it does not stop him from winning race 1 of the night here for himself as he hunts still for that first racing competition win of the year. Continuing along in round number 1, Mike Christensen in Vendetta takes on Kayla Blood in Soldier Fortune. Kayla Blood 2-1 in her career against Mike Christensen. A small mistake as she hits the turning bump, giving Christensen a bit of a chance to catch up, but Soldier Fortune has a lead now entering this final turn. She hits the turning bump again, but it's no worse for the wear. Soldier Fortune off to round number 2. Not the cleanest of races, but she will take anything she can get here in week number 9. Now Jim Kohler, an Avenger. Nice to see the green body back. I love all the other bodies, but it's cool to see it every once in a while. The usual green body that we see Kohler running. He takes on Paul Jensen in Jurassic Attack. Jim Kohler 1-0 in his career against Paul Jensen, and that is going to end here as Paul Jensen will take home a win with Jim Kohler having some rear steer issues. And hands an easy victory. The first win of his career against Jim Kohler for Paul Jensen right there. Again, this is only stadium racing brackets that those numbers are, so keep that in mind. Now we move along to the second round. We have Bari Musauer and Zombie taking on Tyler Menninga in Gravedigger. Tyler Menninga, his first race of the night. Bari Musauer hanging right in there with him. It's a small lead for Zombie going to the final turn. Gravedigger getting up on 2 wheels there in the turn, but it will not hold him back from a round 2 win as Tyler Menninga is off to the final 4 here in Monster Jam Racing in El Paso, night 1. Now the second race of the second round. Corey Rummel is in the near lane of Megalodon. He's taking on Charlie Pauken in Monster Mutt. These two have met a few times this year. Charlie Pauken holds a 4-2 lead in matchups so far in their career. These two have met a few times, whether it be in the final round or in other rounds, but Charlie Pauken does have the overall lifetime advantage against Corey Rummel. Rummel looking smooth. It's a dead even race going to the final turn. Both drivers looking very good to the final jump. It's a close one, my goodness. An absolutely photo finish. We're going to take a look up at the video board for this one. Could not quite tell who won that race. Taking a look at the replay, and your winner, Corey Rummel in Megalodon. How about that? Big win for him. Now Camden Murphy in the Bakugan Dragonoid hunting a big win. He is undefeated in El Paso racing in his career, taking on Caleb Blood in Soldier Fortune. Camden Murphy looking to continue that racing dominance here in El Paso. He has a small lead going to the final turn. Going to the final turn, over the jump, and it is so close. Oh no, Soldier Fortune going over, and a save from Caleb Blood. How about that? A close finish. He might have even won the race. Talk about winning it in style. We're going to take a look at the video board, and indeed, we didn't take a look at the video board. I recorded it myself, and I don't even remember. Soldier Fortune snags a win in round number 2. Now, the next round 2 race, Paul Jensen, Jurassic Attack, taking on Ryan Anderson, son of a digger. Paul Jensen hoping for a huge win. This would be definitely up there in the top wins of his career if he can pull it off. Ryan Anderson, though, is a massive lead entering the final turn. Staying tight in those corners, and son of a digger flying to a victory here in the second round, as he is looking bad fast early on here in this racing competition. It is time for the semifinals. Corey Rummel in Megalodon takes on Tyler Menninga in Gravedigger. Corey Rummel 2-1 in his career against Tyler Menninga. They're dead even entering the final turn. Menninga cutting a beautiful turn, and that will give him a win. Gravedigger is off to the final round. What a close finish. We're going to take another look at it just to be sure. A photo finish here in El Paso, but Tyler Menninga does indeed snag the win. Barely. I mean, that is a matter of inches. But Gravedigger does, in fact, take home the win here in the semis. Now the winner of this next race will take on Gravedigger in that final round. This is Ryan Anderson and Son of a Digger taking on Camden Murphy and the Bakugan Dragonoid. Ryan Anderson, 11-7 in his career against Camden Murphy at the stadium level. You know, Camden would love to add to that here in El Paso. His undefeated streak has been snapped. He got to come back as Soldier Fortune could not continue into this round after breaking the truck. And a close race, wow, to the absolute wire. That is the third photo finish of the day, really the fourth. It's the third one that I'm showing though, and to the line it is so close, but Dragonoid is your winner, and he is off to the final round. Fans, it is that time here in El Paso. The final round of Monster Jam Racing. 12 trucks entered the bracket and only 2 remain standing, and only one of them can walk out of here with a trophy at the end of the night right here in the Sun Bowl Stadium. It's the first of 2 shows, so you know anyone that can get 12 points right off the bat this weekend is setting themselves up nicely for a great weekend. Let's take a look at the drivers competing for the trophy tonight. Starting it off in the near lane. He has been good all year long, but still hunting that elusive second racing win of the season. It is Tyler Meninga in Gravedigger. And in the far lane, he has been solid all season long. His undefeated streak in El Paso ended earlier tonight, but that doesn't mean he can't win here. It's Camden Murphy in the Bakugan Dragonoid. Tyler Meninga 3-2 in his career against Camden Murphy as the 2 drivers fighting for the win tonight. Both drivers looking good. That first turn is solid, but Gravedigger, Tyler Meninga with a lead. It is time for the final turn. It'll determine everything. Murphy's going really wide, and Gravedigger takes home a win because of it. Tyler Meninga with a huge racing win. And how about that? As Tyler Meninga walking out of here with only his second racing win of the season. It has been all the way since we were in San Diego that Tyler Meninga got to grab a racing victory. What a fantastic event. Now we roll into skills. This is Craig Champion, the driver of El Toro Loco. He starts it off. In the skills competition, you can either do 2 moves on 2 wheels or 1 donut. All judged by the fans in attendance here at Sun Bowl Stadium. Lining up for his first hit. Going into a stoppie. A really good stoppie from Craig Champion to boot. Fantastic. And moonwalk, I mean, that's the best move of the year that Craig Champion's done other than the one he did in San Diego. Going for the log, and that is a sky wheelie. So that is 2 hits for Craig Champion. A good run. Gets him a score of a 6.654. Now it's Preston Perez and Axe. Preston Perez had some really good skills runs throughout the year. Let's see what he could do here in El Paso. Going for hit number 1. It's a stoppie. We just saw Craig Champion do a very good one. And a fantastic stoppie. Preston Perez has come such a long way this year in that move. It has been really fun to watch him progress. Now he lines up for the racing lane. He's been doing a lot of bicycles this year, and I assume that's what he's going for here. Going on the racing lane, he is indeed doing a bicycle on the sidewall, and a nice move! Preston Perez! 2 fantastic hits, and it's a 7.860. That brings up Mike Christensen and Vendetta. He is showcasing now the other thing you could do in the skills competition, which is a donut. Pretty good one to boot. Getting the dust up in the air. Had to close my eyes for a good 30 seconds after this move, but it gets him a solid score of a 4.658. Brings up Jim Kohler, Avenger. He had rear steer issues in racing. We'll see. That shouldn't impact him much here in the skills competition. Well, it could if it's broken. Broken one way, I should say. I didn't even realize till right now the front bead locks are bigger than the rear ones. Look at that. I didn't notice that. The big discs in the front are a little bit bigger. Nice little stoppie. So that brings up his second hit. Your leader still is Preston Perez, and Axie's going for the rear side of the racing lane, and a nice sky wheelie from Jim Kohler in front of this sold-out crowd in El Paso. It gets him a 6.430, so no win for Jim Kohler today in this competition. Now it's Barry Musauer and Zombie. The myself-proclaimed king of the wheelies, going for a slap wheelie on the jammer, and he does just that. Beautiful slap wheelie. And Musauer will head to his second hit. He's changed up the second hit a lot this year. He's done some sky wheelies, done some slap wheelies, he's even done some bicycles. I think he tried a stoppie once. It's nice to see him changing up things every week. Going for a bicycle here. Can't quite get it to work though. It's a 6.449, so Axe still sitting in that hot seat as we continue throughout this skills competition. That brings up Charlie Balkin and Monster Mutt. Another guy that's typically pretty good in this competition, getting the fans all amped up before his run. Going for hit number 1, can't quite get much there. That is 1 hit in the books already for Charlie Balkin. Proceeding along for hit number 2 on the right side, and a really nice bicycle. Oh no, he hits the ramp, flipping over into a barrel roll, and cannot quite save it. A wild ride from Monster Mutt. It gets him an 8.861, so we have a new leader here in the competition, but it was certainly not a free and easy 8.861. That brings up Camden Murphy, the Bakugan Dragonoid. Finished runner-up in the racing competition. Got a second chance in that competition after Caleb Blood couldn't return. So he now looks for some more points here in the skills competition. Here he goes, hit number 1. Putting it on the front 2 wheels. It's a stoppie for Camden Murphy. Moonwalking it up the ramp. He's done this a lot of times this year. Moonwalking it right up the ramp and sets it down. What a great first hit there for the Bakugan Dragonoid here in front of these fans in Texas. Camden Murphy, I've said it a couple times this year, he's been ridiculously consistent in this competition when it comes to good moves. So we'll see if he can continue that here with his second hit. Monster Mutt still in the hot seat. Now on the front two wheels, moonwalking in a little weird spot. He sets it down. And the Dragonoid will finish with a second place result after Monster Mutt at an 8.247. That brings up Paul Jensen in Jurassic Attack. Going for a bicycle. Couldn't quite get a big move, so he will have one to go. Here we go. Hit number 2. Paul Jensen lining up for a stoppie on the backside of the racing lane. Nice on the front two wheels, and a good move from Jurassic Attack. It's a 5.051. Sitting towards the bottom of the pack, but still a nice looking second hit. That brings up Corey Rummel in Megalodon. Again, for those wondering, this is my footage for the show. I was lucky enough to be at this event. I'll talk more about it in the freestyle competition. I was only at the first of the two. Hit number 1 for Megalodon. It's a good one. Sets it down. I love the blue eye. You can see that blue eye really well when you zoom in on it. A nice little light in that eyeball. It's a subtle difference, but it's a cool difference. I like it. What would have been even cooler is if they had that during Megalodon Fire's time and made it red. Going for hit number 2, going for a bicycle. Oh no, we're rolling over. Megalodon going over. Gravity pulling the truck down. What a move. Completely unintended, but still one heck of a way to go out for Corey Rummel, and it takes the lead at a 9.390. Taking another look at that one. I mean, my goodness, just flopping around, ironically flopping around like a fish, and just setting it down. Shades of Colvinard from 2018 in Orlando, and I love it. So we've got a new leader, which brings up Soldier Fortune, Caleb Blood. Nice to see that they got the truck fixed up here for the skills competition. Setting it down, and that's 2 drivers now that couldn't get any kick off of that ramp. Again, this dirt is very dusty and loose, so it's a lot harder to get a really good kick off of it. The truck might hold a little bit longer on the dirt, preventing it from getting a nice little bounce. Going for the safe side, lining up for a sky wheelie here. Tends to pull up to it and then go back and try to get a nice little run up on it, and that's exactly what she's doing. Nice sky wheelie, really good move from Soldier Fortune. And that'll set her down at 7.560. So your current leader still is Corey Rummel and Megalodon. Now Ryan Anderson. Son of a Digger on the right side of the truck, and a bicycle getting on the sidewalls and sets it down. One hit in the books for Son of a Digger. He has one to go. Going for hit number 2. On the side, left sidewalls, going into the sidewall, donut, and got it. Ryan Anderson, impeccable control, and it's a 9.7 for the master of his craft. Out of the truck, giving a little wave to the fans. A well-deserved round of applause and a standing ovation for the son of a digger driver, Ryan Anderson. But there's one truck to go, and that one truck is Gravedigger, piloted by Tyler Menninga. Looking for a double down here in El Paso. Gonna be hard to top what Ryan Anderson just did. Again, this show is also obviously not a blind commentary because I was there. Putting it on the front two wheels. A very nice stoppy moonwalk combo. Moonwalking it up the ramp, and he got it up the ramp. How about that? Putting it backwards and popping it into a wheelie. Tyler Menninga, the combo king of Stadium Tour Yellow, with a phenomenal first hit. He's got one hit to go, and look at Ryan Anderson sitting out of his truck as he is cheering on Tyler Menninga, taking video of Tyler Menninga. You gotta love that. That was awesome. Going for hit number 2. A bicycle attempt, and that is it for Gravedigger. So a good hit and a good 2 hits for Gravedigger. It's a 9.024 though. Not enough for him to take home a win in the skills competition. As you can see, that sold out crowd ready to go for Monster Jam Freestyle. And Preston Perez announces his presence right off the bat here in El Paso. He has had some really good freestyles this year. Going for the racing lane. Wow! He mentioned that his mom was in attendance at this event, the first time she got to see him drive a monster truck ever. So I think it's pretty cool that she's getting to witness this. I'm waiting for the day that Preston Perez nails a backflip. It's going to happen, and I can't wait. Might be tonight here in El Paso. What a better time to do it than right there in front of your mom. Or sometime this weekend, who knows. Big air, comboing it right, or transferring rather, to the center of the track. Again, he has just looked so good this year in freestyle. It's been really impressive to see what he can do. Truck's been shut off. Oh no, it hasn't. He's throwing it in reverse. He's going over the racing lane. Nice move from Axe's Preston Perez. Sprinkling in every little bit that he can for this freestyle. He's getting pinned into the corner by the backflip. Maybe this is the time. Oh, maybe. No, he's going to abort the mission. Would have been fun, though. Huge air. Talk about ending it with a bang as he is getting towards the end of the run here, doing everything he can to just increase that score. Time is up. This move doesn't count for scoring, just for the fans. It is a good move and a good freestyle for Axe. Everything else just for the fans. That's it. It's a 6.257, a good run, and a good way to start off the freestyle competition. Paul Jensen, Jurassic Attack, hits the racing lane. His 2 minutes are underway. And going over the racing lane again with some real impact there. We've seen that racing lane so far now, just 2 runs, has given some really good hits. So I anticipate that to continue throughout the night. Obviously, the more trucks that hit it, the less steep it'll be, but you've got to love anytime you can get a ramp that just gives you so much air. Makes it almost hard to not get big air off of it. More big air off of the jammers. Gotta love the way this track's designed. It allows you to get air in really any way possible. And continuing, just sending it. I mean, these guys are getting big early on. The truck is folding into itself and ends on its lid. But what an ending to the run for Paul Jensen in Jurassic Attack to 7.185. Now Mike Christensen and Vendetta coming out third. El Paso fans getting a taste of one of the most gorgeous trucks out there. I was very lucky to be in attendance for this show. As I mentioned, more Big Air. Such a gorgeous venue. My first time ever out in El Paso, and I will say I loved every second of this show. It was so much fun from start to finish. The venue itself is located in a really gorgeous little nook of a mountain, which is it's just beautiful. The venue, I have never been in a stadium that feels more like Sam Boyd Stadium in my life. I mean, I have been in other than Sam Boyd Stadium itself. I've been looking for venues that can match that excitement and that feel, and this venue had it. I loved it. Every second was a blast during the show. The fans were electric. They were really getting into it. With the dirt being so similar to Las Vegas, the venue looks so similar to Las Vegas, with one side of the track not having any fans on it, and then you've also got a tower. It's just, they're very similar stadiums in my eyes, and it really felt that way when watching the show. It felt really similar to that old World Finals feel that we all miss getting from Sam Boyd Stadium. Mike Christensen and Vendetta giving these fans a pretty good freestyle. Nice slap wheelie out of Vendetta. His time's winding down. He's used the whole floor, which is great. He's taken advantage of everything there. And that'll do it. Vendetta is done. It's a 5.604. That puts him in third place at the moment. Still plenty of freestyle to come, and continuing it along is Jim Kohler and Avenger. Starts off this time, a little weird angle on that racing lane. Again, he had rear steer issues in the racing competition, in which his rear steer locked up and he couldn't do anything with it. That knocked him out in round one of racing. Had a solid skills run, but not the kind of run he was looking for. So now he's got to come out here and get as many points as he can in freestyle. And this is a guy who loves to freestyle, so we'll see what he can do. Nice slap wheelie. I have only witnessed Jim Kohler win a freestyle competition once. It was in his second World Finals Freestyle Championship back in, I want to say, 2011? It was, I think. He almost won it back-to-back years. In the year when Cam McQueen won it in 2012. I think McQueen won it in 2011, maybe, and Kohler won it in 20. I don't know. Either way, he and McQueen tied one year, and then he won it the next. It was a pretty cool thing for Jim Kohler to do. Puff of dust. Had to close my eyes, hence the lack of zooming. Didn't want to zoom in onto nothing. Well, lining up for the mini flip. He's the fourth truck out. First one to attempt any sort of backflip. Whoa, a lot of air, but a little under-rotated. Can he pull it out? No. The truck just dug itself in there, and unfortunately, Avenger will have to settle for a 7.957. That brings up Craig Champion. El Toro Loco trying to blow the smoke out of the nose, but whenever you're in such a dry climate, it just doesn't work. Next week, the commentary in Miami, which will be tomorrow if you're watching this on Saturday, March 19th. That show, I'm sure you'll see El Toro Loco get a lot of smoke out of the nostrils. You might be wondering where Stadium Tour Red went. Well, it seems like they're entering hibernation because they don't have another show for like a month. Also, apologies that I didn't get to do the commentary last week. I mentioned in the first weekly wrap-up of the year that for the like 200 people that watch that I have a massively busy schedule this semester. Oh boy, El Toro Loco getting on a wild ride. Can he save it? Yes! The truck just rolling itself right over. That was a blast. We've had some really good moves tonight. But yeah, I have a very busy semester going right now with a lot of stuff going on. The spring semester is always really tough because of baseball. So as now that we're getting into baseball season, my life is just triple as busy as it was a month ago. So I had absolutely, when I tell you no time last week to do a commentary, I mean zero, unless I did it at 1 in the morning. And I live with my parents, so I can't do it when they're asleep. So not much I can do. But came right back, and a nice slap wheelie from El Toro Loco. I came right back this week. We've got 2 commentaries making up for it, so we'll be right back on track entering next week. Hopefully we don't have any more weeks that I have to skip, but you never know. Some weeks just get that busy. Very good run, though, from Craig Champion. I mean, he's had consistent air. The flow has been good. He hasn't had the air that Preston Perez had, but it was certainly a really solid run, and then that save was just awesome. No one's going to turn that down. Whipping it into a donut after the time, so this doesn't count for scoring. His time is done. It's an 8.598, so we've got a new leader here in the freestyle competition, Craig Champion and El Toro Loco. Now it's Barry Musauer and Zombie. Tried for the slap wheelie to start off his run, couldn't quite get it. Going back over the racing lane as well. And Musauer's had a pretty good year this year. He has been very consistent. He's won 3 freestyles of the year entering this weekend, so it's certainly one of the top freestylers in the sport. And huge air, catapulting it to the center of the track. That was a bonsai of a move almost. He just floored it. Little awkward landing there, but no harm, no foul. The truck is still rolling. Now for Musauer, this is his first time ever in El Paso, and he's making the most of it. Exactly half of this field has never competed in El Paso before. Craig Champion, Preston Perez, Caleb Blood, Tyler Menninga, Corey Rummel, and Barry Musauer, all in their first ever appearance here at the Sun Bowl Stadium. Now Zombie's been here a couple times. 2016 it was here, and then 2019 and 20 as well. But Barry Musauer was not behind the wheel. Nice slap wheelie there. 2020 was Stephen Thompson driving it there. I don't remember who it was in 2019. It might have been Travis Mowry. Going for the backflip, the first one to try it on the dumpster of the day. And I mean, that was as perfect as it gets when it comes to a backflip. His time is up, and monster air at the end of the run after the clock expired. I mean, that was a textbook freestyle. He had some really big air. He had the backflip. That was a very good run, and it gets him a 9.208 as he hunts for that 4th freestyle win of the year. Next up here in the freestyle competition, you can hear the bell, which means that it is time for the 40th anniversary Gravedigger truck to enter the track and freestyle here in El Paso. Tyler Menninga has really struggled as of late. Really, ever since San Diego, I mean, he entered after San Diego, Tyler Menninga looked like he might win this tour. But ever since then, it has just not been consistent. The third Houston show, he did really well. He managed to win skills, freestyle, and the overall. But the only other overall he's had this year was before then was San Diego #2. Those were that was the only other time since San Diego that he's been able to win an overall event championship. So hoping for a good freestyle tonight to possibly get him there, because he won himself racing today and he managed to finish in third in skills. So a good freestyle run will equal likely an overall event championship, and you know that's what he's looking for. These guys are coming out of Anaheim. They spent 2 straight weeks in Anaheim. Oh no, the truck's been shut off. Gets to refire, thankfully. So he'll get to continue on with his run. Now, I mentioned it to my dad during the show because I think it's really interesting, and it's a point I haven't really brought up this year. It seems like Tyler Menninga has not had that great of a year freestyling. It seems like he's a little bit more reserved, and the reason for that is because his driving style is very similar to Ryan Anderson's. He loves to just go all out, put his foot to the floor, and just send it and do, really big things. Last year he was able to do that more because of the tracks that he was driving on, and in the past we've seen him do that because those tracks allowed for you to get really big air off of a racing lane or something and not really have to worry about something being in your way when you land. But here in El Paso, and on this entire tour this year, this track, you can't do that. There's simply zero chance for you to get huge air and just kind of full send it and not worry about landing on something. Ryan Anderson has come such a long way in his career that he is able to land and not break the truck. He can maneuver out of it. But Tyler Menninga is still learning how to do that. Oh boy, see, like that. That is a good move. Those are the kind of things that Ryan Anderson does that allows him to do that. But Tyler Menninga, when he does that, it's not a guarantee that he saves that every time. So he's being a little extra cautious on the track. And I think as every week goes on, we see him be a little bit more comfortable. Lining up for the backflip ramp. A little short, but he still lands it nonetheless. Gravedigger completes the backflip. The clock is going red, and he flies right at the end of the run. My goodness. We've had a great freestyle competition so far. Tyler Menninga only adding to that with a great run of his own, as Gravedigger takes an 8.729. Not quite enough for the lead, but still a good position right now to maybe win the overall. That brings up Coy Rummel. Time for Megalodon. The body quite beaten up after his rollover in skills. Coy Rummel's last couple weeks in freestyle have been very strange, I must say. He hasn't really had very typical Coy Rummel runs where he's kind of just hitting things at strange angles. I don't know if he's trying to just change it up a little bit, but he's been hitting things from different angles and just in weird ways that he wasn't doing all year, whether it be hitting a ramp just from the side or something. Nice donut. But it's been different. I don't know, I don't really have a specific date or show that I can pinpoint as to when he started it, but I believe it was a couple weeks ago, maybe in Houston, that he really began it. Because he did it in Glendale too. It might have been even in Glendale that he started, but it's just been different the way that he's doing it. Hasn't really gotten any big air. which is, you know, one of his signature things is getting big air and just having a really great run with that air included. So I don't know if it's just me. He's going for a reverse move. That's our second of the day. How about that? 2 reverse moves in one night. I don't know. It's just different. I'm intrigued to hear what his reasoning is behind it, whether it's a conscious decision or not. Maybe he just hasn't quite found a rhythm in order to get the kind of run that he's looking for. But his scores have reflected. He hasn't had the best freestyle scores these last few weeks. But going for the backflip here. Oh my! Under-rotated. And it ends up on its lid. Unfortunately, Megalodon is done. It's an 8.690. That's third place. Now Monster Mutt, Charlie Plonkin. Now Charlie Plonkin has himself 3 freestyle wins this year, just like your current leader, Bari Musauer. The 2010 World Finals Freestyle Champion. A little bit of a weird situation there that he maneuvered himself out of. Has to back up, though. It's kind of a tough spot because he had a nice move, but then, you know, throwing it in reverse hurts him. While, yes, the days of throwing it in reverse will hurt your scores are kind of gone. It just kind of disrupts the flow. Now, Charlie Plonkin has been here, and he's been here a lot, actually. First was here in 2005. That is the earliest appearance out of any of the drivers in this field. He was here in 2013 and 14 as well, and 2017 and 2020. Huge air. Weird little bounce, but he's not going to let that stop him. Oh, he's got to back up again. It's always cool when you get to see, especially, you know, a crowd like this where the El Paso fans are very loyal fans. They love their Monster Jam. You know, Jim Kohler hadn't been here since 2011, and there were fans that were saying, hey, we're so happy to have you back. It's cool when you get drivers that have been here for a while and were here a long time ago that get to come back. Going for the backflip. Absolutely perfect. We've seen either perfect backflips tonight or under-rotated backflips. More big air. He loves to just get that huge leap after the backflip. Really adds an exclamation point to the run. He's going to have to back up for a third time. On another reverse move. What is happening? It's like an ode to Mike Vauders tonight. El Paso getting the reverse moves in here. Good old Mike Vauders and Dan Evans, the guys who made that reverse move popular in the late, well, throughout the 2000s. That's the end of the run. Monster Mutt, a very good freestyle. It doesn't take the lead. It's an 8.910, but a good run to boot. Now it's Soldier Fortune, Kayla Blood. Going on top of the cars like she does every week, hyping up the fans. Lines up for her first hit. And off she goes. Kayla Blood's been on a little bit of a freestyle tear lately. She only has one freestyle win this year. It was in Anaheim's third event of the season, but she has had some really good freestyles as of late. She's been consistently in the top of every freestyle competition pretty much since Glendale. Glendale was that breakout show for her that she really needed. She had a really wild save in racing tonight, so her night got started off with a bittersweet move because it knocked her out for the rest of racing, but it was still a highlight. As I mentioned before, this is her first time ever in El Paso as well. Again, all of these statistics that I'm getting are all found on the Real Monster Hub Instagram. Nice leap. Kicking up some dirt there in the center pod. Another big hit. The racing lanes are just providing some really good air tonight. I've always been a big fan of big racing lane hits, and everyone's also using that ramp for some nice launches as well. So Barry Musauer and Zombie still sits at the top with a 9.208. Kayla Blood, though, trying to leap her way there. It has been a very good run so far, but no one so far tonight has really been able to take down what Barry Musauer did. That lines her up for the backflip ramp. Here she goes. A little under-rotated, stuffs it in, and broke that front axle. And that is the end of the run for Soldier Fortune. A tough break, as that will cut her a little bit short here in show number 1's freestyle competition. It's a 9.084. Now it's Ryan Anderson, son of a digger. We get to the end of this freestyle competition. Only 2 trucks remain. Ryan Anderson, the first of the 2. He'll be followed by Camden Murphy and the Bakugan Dragonoid. Ryan Anderson won skills tonight, so he is looking for a double down. The only driver who can do so tonight is off and running here with his freestyle. Oh boy, and he is just looking good from the start. You gotta love when Ryan Anderson just goes big from the very beginning. Just makes you feel good. Nice air. Oh, wow, flying. Talk about hang time. I mean, we've seen a lot of drivers utilize that ramp tonight for big air. But that was some of the biggest we have seen today, and just continuing hit after hit with big air. Ryan Anderson gunning for that top spot. Harder than we've seen anyone gun for it tonight. I mean, every hit is huge. He's just not messing around. Just gotta love when Ryan Anderson is performing in peak form. It's just special. Oh, here we go. Combo get into a stoppie. Fantastic. Oh, and it breaks the wheel off, and that's gonna end the run. A tough break from Son of a Digger. It'll be an 8.894. What a run to that point, but it will not win here in El Paso, which means that Camden Murphy is the last person standing between Barry Musauer and his 4th freestyle win of the year. Let's see if Camden Murphy can do it. Camden Murphy also does not even have a freestyle win yet this year, so this would be his first if he can snag it. He's got a couple competition wins in racing and skills, but none in freestyle. It's either going to be he or Barry Musauer. So Murphy's either going to pick up number 1 or Musauer will snag number 4. And again, this is just show 1 of 2. Big air, launching it to the center of the track. I mean, Musauer's run was really good. The only way that Murphy's going to be able to beat it is if he has a complete run with the backflip or just fills the clock with some huge air. So far, he's certainly on pace, but he's got to fill the clock. Massive hang time again. I mean, he is just doing everything. And a nice combo into a wheelie, walked it right up the ramp. Oh my, sending it to the center of the track. I mean, he's just doing everything. Bouncing over and a save to boot. Put a cherry on top. That was fantastic. He's been shut off. Gets to refire. Not much time left on the clock for Camden Murphy. The time is now. I'd say if he lands this backflip, The freestyle win is easily his, but he needs to land it. Going for the backflip, over-rotates it, and that is it. Oh, no! That's the end of the run for Camden Murphy. Just an unfortunate ending there. You know he didn't want that. So that gives the freestyle win to Bari Musauer and Zombie, which brings us to the second event of the weekend. This is Sunday afternoon racing, as Preston Perez and Axe takes on Craig Champion and El Toro Loco. The track looks a little slick here today. This is also one of the most iconic shows of the year. Whenever we get out to, oh boy, El Toro Loco's on its lid. That came out of nowhere. Anytime we get ourselves out to El Paso for a daytime show, it is just gorgeous. I'm really disappointed I didn't get to be there, but I had to be back home for school the next day. So a little unfortunate. As you can see there, that is what happened to El Toro Loco. Looks like just couldn't quite grip it into the turn. Too bad. So now it's time for the second race of this round. It's Jim Cole and Avenger taking on Ryan Anderson in Son of a Digger. So a quite eventful first race of the evening. Well, day, afternoon. It's the afternoon. Leads us here to two veterans in the sport. Can't quite tell who's where in the race when they cross the line, so I'm gonna have to rely on the website here for my answers as to who won the race. That one's a pretty clear one, though. That's Ryan Anderson going on to the next round. Now Paul Jensen, Jurassic Attack, takes on Soldier Fortune. That is Caleb Blood. Little weird audio thing there. I don't know what happened. But technology, it's not always perfect. Weird landing for Jurassic Attack. The body flapping all over the place. And he will cross the line. Oh my! And Jurassic Attack with a wild ride. Goodness gracious. But Soldier Fortune, I mean, we didn't see her cross the line either. So wow, how about that? Well, that's strange. So that takes us to the next race and final race of round one. This has been quite the interesting racing competition so far. Charlie Palkin and Monster Mutt takes on Mike Christensen in Vendetta. It does seem like this track's a little bit more slick today. I'm seeing a lot of drivers. Oh boy, Charlie Palkin did a donut out of the starting little circle. Well, this has seriously been a very interesting event. So Mike Christensen snags a win. He's off to the next round. Charlie Palkin's going to have to sit this one out. Round two action, let's go. It's Bari Musauer and Zombie taking on Preston Perez and Axe. Now also keep in mind, while yes I know what happened in the first show, I have no idea what happened in show 2. So just bear that in mind as we go ahead here. This half of the commentary is completely blind. And Musauer will lose. Axe, Preston Perez. What a win. What a night we've had so far. What a day. It's not nighttime yet. It's still daytime. But wow. Axe with a huge win. Now it's Ryan Anderson and Son of a Digger. He's taking on Corey Rummel in Megalodon. Now there's no real upset to be had here as these are two great racers. Corey Rummel, though, still looking for that first racing win of the year. He has been searching for it all season. In my eyes, the best driver and best racer to not have a racing win this season. On this tour, at least. And whoa! One step closer. That is a win for Corey Rummel as he is off to the semifinals, managing to take down Son of a Digger in a very close race. That was certainly not a blowout. That brings up Tyler Menninga and Gravedigger taking on Mike Christensen in Vendetta. Vendetta already knocked out one heavy hitter. While yes, it was due to the mistake of Charlie Palkin, it still was a win for Vendetta. If he can take down Tyler Menninga, which doesn't look like he will, it would be one hell of a win. But Gravedigger looking smooth, and that is an easy victory as he walks out of here with a win. Tyler Menninga off to the semifinals. So now we join in mid-action here for Bakugan, Dragonoid, and Avenger. Camden Murphy was one win away from winning racing last night, trying to do so today, but Jim Kohler's got a small lead entering the final turn. This slick track proving tricky for everyone. Close over the line. But your winner is Camden Murphy in the Bakugan Dragonoid. Wow, what a day. Now we're in the semifinals. Preston Perez in Axe takes on Corey Rummel in Megalodon. These two teammates. Megalodon with a gorgeous turn, but Preston Perez is hanging in there. Could Preston Perez pull out a massive upset? No. Corey Rummel is off to the final round. He loses the nose while he's at it. One heck of a race, though, that Preston Perez put up. We now flip over to the other side of the bracket. Tyler Meninga and Gravedigger takes on Camden Murphy in the Bakugan Dragonoid. And Meninga on the right side of the truck, and his run is going to be cut really short here, as Camden Murphy is going to fly past him and have basically a bye run here in El Paso and a date in the final round with Corey Rummel. Both of these drivers hunting their first racing win in a long time. I'll get those official numbers in just a moment here, as Corey Rummel, I know, has not won a racing competition yet this year. Camden Murphy won one in the last weekend in Anaheim, but nonetheless, this is going to be one heck of a matchup. In the, well, I don't know which lane, but in one lane, we have Corey Rummel and Megalodon, as I mentioned, hunting that first racing win of the year. He's been so good, but he has not been able to get it so far this year. And in that far lane is Camden Murphy in the Bakugan Dragonoid. Won the overall event championship last night and finished second in racing. Both of these drivers want this racing win so badly, and it would mean the world to them if they could snag it. Off the line, both looking good. Camden Murphy cuts the turn tight at the start, but goes a little wide. That might hurt him. Corey Rummel has a lead going to the final turn in hunt of his first racing win of the year. But it is not going to come today, as Camden Murphy in the Bakugan Dragonoid takes home the racing win here in the second show in El Paso. How about that? He came in second last night, and boy, does that one feel so good for Camden Murphy in the Bakugan Dragonoid, and he is going to be entering the next two competitions with quite the exclamation point. We get into that second of three competitions of the day now, as Vendetta takes on the skills competition. That's Mike Christensen behind the wheel. And in this skills competition, as I mentioned before, you can either do 2 moves on 2 wheels or 1 donut. Now, last night he did a donut. Let's see if he changes things up here. Maybe goes for 2 moves on 2 wheels. He is indeed sticking with the 2-wheel moves and getting a great slap wheelie out of it. That was a solid first hit. Nice way to open up the competition. He's got 1 hit to go. Going for the backside of the racing lane and a little sky wheelie. Vendetta's 2 hits yields him a 4.875 in the scorebook. Fairly solid event starter there for Vendetta. Now Craig Champion looks to be the skills champion tonight here in El Toro Loco. Yes, that was pun intended. Solid stoppie. He had a good run last night. Didn't get him a win. He doesn't have any competition wins this year, but he came really close in the first show in San Diego with his skills run. I don't know if his front steering is locked. I believe his front steering is locked. Or what? I don't know. He just got pinned there for some reason. Not too sure why. He's going for a bicycle. Oh, yeah. Good move from El Toro Loco, and it's going to get him the lead at a 6.813. Now Jim Kohler, Avenger. Didn't have the best skills run last night, and another one, just a tough kick. As I mentioned in last night's competition, it's just the way that this dirt is. It's pretty tough to get a really good kick off of it. And again, another one, just no kick. It's a 2.328, a really tough break for Avenger there. You know Jim Kohler's not happy about that. We'll see if he can make up for it in the freestyle competition. Now it's Bari Musauer and Zombie. Going for the jammer. Not much of a slap wheelie out of it. He got a little bit, but Not to the extent that we know Bari Musauer can do. He's got one hit to go, though. Last night he opted for a bicycle for hit number 2. Today going for a sky wheelie. And a good one. 2 good hits and a little stompy at the end of it. Impressive. You could see the fans waving their zombie arms. The score for zombies is 7.545, your new leader. Now Ryan Anderson. He won skills last night, did 2 really great bicycles, got the sidewall donut to work really well in the second hit, walking a fantastic bicycle into the turn. A very deep bicycle there from Son of a Digger, and you know he is just loving every second that he is on the right side of that truck. This is a dude who can live in 2 wheels if he wanted to. Live on 2 wheels, I should say. That's improper grammar. Going for the same exact ramp that he used last night and walking the bicycle up the ramp. I like that. A little change of pace. It's a 9 flat for Son of a Digger, so that takes the lead here in skills. Now Kayla Blood, Soldier Fortune. On the backside of the racing lane, going for a stoppie, and that is hit number 1. Couldn't quite get a great kick, and again, that's just been the story of the weekend. Not great kicks off of these ramps in an attempt to get a stoppie. A lot of the success has come via the bicycle. And a good sky wheelie from Soldier Fortune. Her 2 hits gets her a score of a 7.294. This is Preston Perez, Axe. On the front 2 wheels, a stoppie. He had a really good one last night. He had a really great skills run last night. Moonwalks it and sets it down. Last night he did the same move and then threw in a bicycle. We'll see if he does the same thing here today. He's gotten really comfortable in doing both of those moves this season. He is lining up for the racing lane as the bicycle is in his sights. Let's see how well he can do it. I think if he can really nail these 2 moves, he might have a chance of winning a skills competition this year. And a good second one there. Axe not going to take the lead, but an 8.512 is still a very good score. Tyler Meniga, Gravedigger now. He won racing last night, hoping to continue his good weekend in the victory column here in skills in the second show. Moonwalking it up the ramp. On 1 wheel for a second there. I mean, he's just got that thing sitting, popping it down. A very good first hit there. A little different look. I mean, he didn't move it very much, but he walked it up the ramp and back down the ramp. That was definitely impressive. He's got 1 hit to go. Tyler Meninga's had some really good combos this year. He had a good one in the first show. Stopping it. Moonwalking it. Another, I guess that's kind of a combo, but I'm talking about those moonwalks to wheelies that he's done really well. Gets it up the ramp, but not too much. Oh, he's putting it into a wheelie. There you go. Comboing it. Tyler Meninga. And now he's dancing the wheelie around. I mean, he's now just walking the wheelie back and forth, walking it up the ramp. Oh, my goodness. Oh, and he got a little mini stoppie out of it at the end. Almost turned that into the best combo of the year. That might even still be the best combo of the year, but nonetheless, a phenomenal move for Gravedigger. It's a 9.907. Beat that. I mean, come on now. Megalodon trying to take a bite out of the competition. Now in skills, I don't know how you follow up what Tyler Meninga just did, but let's see what he can do. Little stoppy, moonwalking it up the ramp. Nice. That was a good first hit there for Corey Rummel. One of the best of the year for him. Came in second in racing, so if he can get a lot of points here in skills, he sets himself up for a potential overall event championship today. Nope, the truck's shut off. Now, Corey does not have an overall event championship this year, so if he could snag one today, that would be a huge one. But he also would then have to come out here and throw down a great skills run, which he's already got 1 move, and then do a better freestyle. Trying to do something similar to what he did last night. It's a bicycle on one side and a really good second hit. So 2 really good hits out of Megalodon. It's only an 8.254, which puts him in 3rd place. I'm not too sure I like that. I think that could have been a lot higher. But either way, for third place, that is still a good spot when it comes to points. Now the last driver here in skills, I'm sorry, second to last, we still haven't seen Monster Mutt yet. I forgot that he hasn't ran. But second to last, this is Camden Murphy, a racing winner in the Bakugan Dragonoid. So we are winding down the skills competition. You can hear the wind. I'm sure you've heard it throughout the show today. It was a very windy weekend out there in El Paso. While this show was going on, I was driving back home to Phoenix to prepare myself for my school week. This was 2 weeks ago already. Crazy to think, but it was a really fun time. I had a blast. My final stadium show of the year for right now. I don't know when the next one will be. Obviously, I'd assume it'll be Glendale in the fall, but who knows? You never know. Backside of the racing lane for Camden Murphy. Stopping it, moonwalking it. Walking it back up the ramp still in a really awkward angle, but he is just walking this puppy back and forth. Completely balancing that thing. 12,000 pounds, all balanced on those front two wheels. Great first hit. I've had him pegged as one of the top drivers in this competition all year and has a potential to win the World Finals Championship in this competition all year for a reason. As for moves like we just saw, let's see if he can put down another really good one. Puts it down. Moonwalking it. Moonwalking it up the ramp and take that nose of the truck. Just dug it right on in there, and that was a really good run from the Dragonoid. It doesn't take the lead. It's an 8.767. I've got to say, that was definitely second place, but the fans did not quite agree. Fan judging was a little interesting all weekend long, but nonetheless, great run. Now it's your final truck in skills. This is Monster Mutt, Charlie Pauken. Had some issues in racing. Got knocked out in round number 1, so he is hoping for a really good skills run. A nice stoppie. Really good. I think he had that thing in first there to try and really get a nice walk going, and he did. So that is hit number 1. He's got one hit to go. Going for a bicycle, hits the racing lane on the right side of the truck, balancing that thing all the way towards the turn, still walking towards the backflip ramp, sets it down, and Monster Mutt takes an 8.787 to the bank in the skills competition, puts him in third place, meaning that your winner is Gravedigger Tyler Meninga with a 9.907, a fantastic skills run for him, snags him another one. And now, freestyle, Mike Christensen, Vendetta, let's see what he's got here in show number 2. Now, Mike Christensen has actually competed here before. He was here in 2018 and in 2021. He only drove Vendetta in 2021. If I'm correct, I think he actually drove Iron Outlaw. Yeah, wait, that's right. I think he drove Iron Outlaw that entire tour in 2018. Am I completely forgetting that? Someone let me know what, because I know someone's watching this that knows me. Someone let me know what truck he drove in 2018, because I think he drove Iron Outlaw that year, and it just completely left my mind for the last 4 years. I mean, I did the commentaries of every show that year. That was my first year doing them all year. I'm almost certain that was the year that he drove Iron Outlaw, I believe. I completely forgot about that. It took me all year to remember that, because I kept seeing his name showing up as having competed in some of these shows, and I was like, how's that possible? He hasn't been on tour yet. But yes, he has. And I think I've said a few times this year that he hasn't been on tour until this year, but he actually has. He's having a really good freestyle run in El Paso so far. How about that? My brain just completely forgot. But for some reason, I remembered El Paso of him and Iron Outlaw. And that's assuming he even drove Iron Outlaw. He might have driven something else, but I'm almost certain he drove Iron Outlaw that year. That was his first taste of Monster Jam. Consistently, at least. And that'll do it. He's going to call it quits right there on the top of the pod. It's a 7.131. Now we join Preston Perez mid-leap, as normal. He announces his presence and starts his run off with a nice hit. He's done that quite a few times this year. It seems like that's become his strategy. A lot of drivers try to pick out one move that they do just to start off the run pretty much every event. Kayla Blood does her pull on top of the cars, back off, and then hit it. Preston Perez now just hits the jammer. Big air. Just leaping it to the center of the track. It really depends on the driver. Most drivers just kind of hit whatever they feel like because they get their own strategy going before. But for a while there, Ryan Anderson on the Chicago-style track that was introduced in 2018, he would just circle around and hit the front side of the step-up, and that would be the beginning of his run every time. But Preston Perez, it starts his run off strong, and he tends to continue that strength throughout the rest of the freestyle. It's been a very impressive go of it. I'd say Glendale, for both he and Caleb Blood, were breakout shows for both of those drivers. They both had their best shows of the year at that point in the season and have not turned it off ever since. And for Caleb Blood, it was kind of expected. I'd been saying it all year that one of these days she'll break out. So that wasn't a shock. But for Preston Perez, I mean, I didn't know if he was going to break out eventually, but he certainly has. It's been really fun. It's nice to see a driver like Preston Perez, who was a Monster Jam fan, finally just coming into his own. It has been a really enjoyable season to watch. And he continues that enjoyable season with a great freestyle here in El Paso. In the second show, he's going to wrap it up with a little donut right in front of the camera. And the score for Preston Perez and Axe when he finishes up this monstrous cyclone is a 7.507. We've got a new leader. Jim Kohler, two-time World Finals freestyle champion, is now out here in El Paso. As I mentioned in the first show, this is his first time back in El Paso since 2011. It was his only time he was ever here in 2011, and he has now made a return. So we'll see if he can throw down a good run here in Show 2. Show 1 wasn't too great. Definitely could have been better, but the truck was not necessarily cooperating with him. He went for the mini flip, and the truck couldn't quite rotate properly. So now let's see if he can end off the weekend with a bang. Getting huge air! Whoa! And a nice combo, wheeling it up the ramp. We saw Camden Murphy do that same thing last night. Just a nose left on the body here of Avenger. I've got to wonder if the weight distribution's a little bit off because he's got 3 wheels with those bigger bead locks, and then he's got the one that has the smaller ones, and those bigger bead locks are a little bit heavier, so I've got to wonder if that's maybe, if that could make an impact, enough of an impact to maybe throw the truck off at a weird angle. I'm not saying that that's, the reason for any issues this weekend. I'm just curious if that would actually have an impact on the truck at all. I would assume it wouldn't, or else Kohler wouldn't do it, but you never know. He's loving that mini flip this year, and I think that is what he wants to do now, but I don't think he's going to get there. Not going to get there on that pass, but he's going to turn back around and go for it here. Mini flip to... Oh, no! It doesn't rotate him at all! The truck stuffs itself in and naturally rolls itself over. I mean, that was... Sometimes you pull a rabbit out of the hat. It's an 8.896, a very good score for Avenger. Craig Champion, setting himself up for his first hit of the run to set 2 minutes on the clock. Backing up for a hit. And bang, we are underway. El Toro Loco freestyling here in the second El Paso show. Last night he had a nice save. More of a recovery than, well, a lot of the things are more recoveries than saves, but most of my viewers only know them as saves, so I'll just stick with that. I did get a nice lesson on what the difference was between a recovery and a save, though, from my Arizona monster truck pals. They helped me out there after this El Paso show. It's something that's always kind of confused me. Basically, a recovery is... well, that's a save. See, that is a save. A recovery is basically any time the truck, like, rolls over at any point and then comes back on all four wheels. Like, a recovery is that the body basically never hits the ground. I mean, a save, sorry. A save is when the body never hits the ground. A recovery is anything else. In terms of technical terms, there's really no strict definition. But the way that I put it was, all recoveries are saves, but not all saves are recoveries. That's the way to... that's a good way of putting it. A little wheelie here. Oh, no! Well, over goes the El Toro Loco. It's a 7.752. Tough break. Get those zombie arms up in the air. It's time for Barney Musauer to freestyle here in El Paso. He won freestyle last night, so I'm kind of confused as to why he's coming out so early. But again, as I've said a few times this year, the lineups have been kind of all over the place. But Barney Musauer has had himself a great year. 4 freestyle wins under his belt this season. Big air over that racing lane. Musauer's always been a very underrated freestyler. He's just very consistent. He goes out there, throws down 2 minutes, typically does a backflip, gets the air. I mean, I'd say if you had to do an average of his full freestyle run scores, they're probably around a 9.3. Huge air. And while yes, the qualifier is there of full freestyle runs, and you know, you could make the argument, well, anyone who combines their full freestyle runs is going to be pretty high, but not necessarily a 9.3. A 9.3 is a very good score for a full freestyle, and he lives pretty much around that number every week, as long as he can fill the clock, and even when he doesn't sometimes. More big air, utilizing that same ramp for back-to-back really huge hits. I just love the way that Musauer freestyles. It's so simple, but it's just so great. I mean, it is... if you had to make a textbook definition of a freestyle, Barney Musauer is pretty much the example that you could throw in the textbook. Might have had a little truck breakage there, who knows. I hope that is not the end of the run, because he has been going really good so far. Here, John Saponaro, they're saying 25 seconds left on the clock. They're going to check and make sure everything's okay.
Looks like some of our USHRA tech officials out there.
We'll have to wait and see if he can refire. It's been a really good run to this point, just like last night's was. It was just pretty much textbook.
Looks like they've seen everything they need to see. So let's see if we can pump them up a little bit, El Paso. Let's see if we can help them refire.
Alrighty, so Zombie's back and running. 25 seconds on the clock. It should start right now. The teeth are just, the mouth is just flapping in the breeze. Lining up for the backflip. He landed it last night. Oh boy, a little hard landing today. Very hard landing in that back right, but it didn't break anything, magically. So now we can just end the run. Nice air. He's expired on the clock. And that is the end of the run. So Barney Musauer and Zombie, just like last night, textbook. And it's a very high score, too, a 9.592. So Barney Musauer continuing his consistency here in freestyle this year. In the regular season, it's just all about consistency, and Barney Musauer has been the king of that this year. Now it's Corey Rummel, Megalodon. Another, that example, that hit right there was the example of what I was talking about in the first show, where he's just kind of hitting things at strange angles, Just like that, too. Like, it doesn't get him any air. It's just kind of filling the clock. Oh, boy. Right over the racing lane, though. Didn't hold back on that one. So Zombie's your leader, 9.592. Still a lot of freestylers to come here in El Paso's second event. Getting a nice donut in. Always good to throw a little donut in here and there, change up the pace. Going again back over that racing lane. The shadows are now starting to creep across more than half of the track, which isn't necessarily a bad thing for the driver. I wouldn't know if that makes it tough to see for the driver, but for the fans, definitely makes it a little bit more difficult to see the truck in certain parts. Huge air. I never will forget the Lyon France show that I did, commentary. I think it was 2018, where the shadows were so bad. I mean, you could not see the trucks when they were freestyling. It was awful. Never forget that show because Blue Thunder had an incredible save that went from the shadow to the light. It was awesome. Backflip from Megalodon. Wow, that was as perfect as it can be. It splits the body in half. And now he can continue on with the rest of his run. And again, another weird angle that he takes on that ramp. Doing a donut, Megalodon flinging some of the body parts around, and that's the end of the run. So it's an 8.566. Not enough for the lead, but still a solid freestyle. It's time for the black and green wrecking machine, Gravedigger freestyling in El Paso Show 2. Celebrating 40 years, all the way back to 1982. And Tyler Menning has been representing this truck on Stadium Tour Yellow all year long. He's done a great job of it. Trying to continue that here in El Paso. He's had a pretty good weekend here in El Paso. He won skills earlier today, and a nice skills move there. A little two-wheel moonwalk action. You gotta love it when drivers throw that into their freestyle, just changing things up. Big air, using that jammer to its full opportunity, or full advantage. I don't know, there was a word I was trying to throw in there. More big air. These drivers just love using those jammers, and why not? I mean, it is such a good move to use. It gives you some serious hang time. Little somewhat donut there. I think he's spinning around to go to the backflip, which yes, he indeed is. Going for the backflip. Lands it. Oh, trying to get the moonwalk, but couldn't quite nail it. Oh my! Absolutely launched. It skips over onto the other side of the pod. And without hitting any of the trucks over there, he is shut off. I don't know if that's going to be the end. But serious elevation with 10 seconds to go. Look at that! Barely even... I don't think he's even touching Soldier Fortune. I mean, Tyler just went from backflip to mini moonwalk to absolute outer space. And now he's flinging the truck around. And a barrel roll. The truck's going over. And it's done. Talk about a finish. Talk about a freestyle. Gravedigger tearing it up. No holds barred here in El Paso, and it's a 9.736. We've got a new leader here in this second show. Tyler Menninga having one heck of a weekend. Now Ryan Anderson and Son of a Digger is tasked with beating that. Last night in the Sunday show, well, Barney Musauer walked out of here with a win because no one else could top him. It was just a textbook run, but no one had that over-the-top freestyle. But tonight, Tyler Menninga has the over-the-top freestyle. He had an over-the-top skills run, too. Arguably one of the best shows of the year for Mr. Menninga. His Oakland shows were great, and so was his second San Diego show, but El Paso right now looking really good for Tyler Menninga here. Not only just today, but this entire weekend. Now, Ryan Anderson's got a little bit of a bone to pick with this truck, because last night he had a fantastic run going, but the wheel shaved off, and that was the end of his run. Cut his run about a minute short. Probably would have won freestyle had he kept on going. And he was only 0.3 of a point off, and he left about 45 seconds on the clock. Absolutely sent to the center of the track. These last two guys not playing around. There's a reason why they're on Team Digger. And a stoppie from Ryan Anderson. Tyler Menninga just did one about 3 minutes ago. And now Ryan Anderson moonwalks it up the ramp. Oh, and he's been shut off. Let's hope that doesn't end his run. Now he's been refired. Oh, and he's shut off again. Okay, they get him refired, thankfully. They're going to get the Roxor recovery truck cart off the track. You can see Tyler Menninga just chilling over there, but cheering for Ryan Anderson. These drivers all love to cheer for each other. It's not a team sport, but they act like a big family whenever everyone's out there because they just don't want to see each other do well because they want the fans to get the best show possible. And Ryan Anderson right now is putting on one heck of a show for these fans. And flying over the racing lane. He hasn't done a backflip yet this weekend, so I'm sure he's obviously keeping his eye on that, and he is just flying to go to the backflip right now. He doesn't even want to make a single mistake. Going straight for it. And nailed it. Couldn't have done it any better. And unleashing the monster as he flies over the center of the track. What a freestyle from Ryan Anderson. The score is, in my eyes, very, very low. So he's just going to go and do a donut. Oh, I don't know. Are they just going to let him run till he flips? Oh, well, the engine gives out, so doesn't matter. It's a 9.042, and I've got to say, while no, that shouldn't have taken the lead, I've got to say, that to me was definitely second place, but it's far behind Zombie, unfortunately. But still a great run from Son of a Digger. Charlie Balkin, the 2010 World Finals Freestyle Champion, off and running by hitting the racing lane. So Tyler Menninga's in the hot seat here in El Paso with a 9.736. Only a couple trucks left here in this second freestyle of the weekend. Charlie Balkin, no stranger to putting down good freestyles. Nice air there. Hit a little hard on the center, but no problem. Huge air. Now, Balkin this year has three freestyle wins under his belt. His first one came in Anaheim's very first show. Then he snagged one in the second show in Houston, and then got one in Glendale. So he hasn't won a freestyle since Glendale. It's been a little while. You know, he would love to come out here and snag one from his former team, Gravedigger. Having a good freestyle so far, but I do think he needs to pick up the pace a little bit. Tyler Menninga had a spectacular run and ended it in incredible fashion. You can see they've just left Gravedigger to the side there. Monster Mutt lining up for the backflip. And another gorgeous backflip. We have seen some picture-perfect backflips this weekend. Charlie Balkin just adding to that total. Time winding down. And that is it for Monster Mutt, I think. Nope, they're going to let him keep going. There's only like 2 seconds left, but they're going to let him finish it out. And only got one more move in there, and it's quite the launch. Oh boy, what a bounce! Monster Mutt rolling over! And the dog ends on its lid. That was almost a wild move I mean, it was a wild move regardless, but a wild, I don't even know what you want to call it. It's not a save, but a wild finish for Monster Mutt. It gets him a 9.131, which is higher than Son of a Digger, which I severely disagree with, but that's okay. That brings up Caleb Blood and Soldier Fortune. 2 trucks left, Soldier Fortune and Bakugan Dragonoid. Jurassic Attack did not compete in this competition, unfortunately, so Paul Jensen's weekend ended in the skills competition. I'm sorry, he didn't compete there either. It ended in racing. Jurassic Attack had that wild crash in racing, if you remember. It was against Caleb Blood, too. Pretty funny timing that I remembered that during her run. She's got a good one going so far, though, and as I mentioned in the first show, she's only got 1 freestyle win of the year, but she has certainly picked it up these last couple weeks in that competition. Tyler Menninga has quite the high score here. It's going to be tough to beat. And with the way Soldier Fortune's run is going so far, she's going to need to throw in some serious wow moments towards the end of it in order to take that lead away. It's not been a bad run by any means, but with the run that Tyler Menninga threw out there, it's going to be very challenging for really anyone to take it home. You've got to be on your game from the start of the run. I would say, honestly, there are maybe only a couple drivers in Monster Jam that I would think could do it. Caleb Blood, Soldier Fortune going for the backflip. Lands it. A little hard on the backside, but the truck is still intact. She's going to finish off her freestyle here. Oh boy, weird landing. I don't know how the truck did that. It just kind of got stuck in the ground. That's the end of time. The rest is just for the fans. Nice donut she's going to whip it into here. And that'll do it. So Soldier Fortune's done at an 8.542. It's been a really good freestyle competition so far, though, so that puts her towards the bottom of the pack. There's 1 truck to go. Finally here in freestyle, this is Bakugan Dragonoid. Camden Murphy will start off with the racing lane. 2 minutes on the clock. The man still hunting for his first freestyle win of the year, and well, he's got a tough road ahead of him. He has to knock down a 9.736 that was posted by Tyler Menninga. Menninga in the hunt for freestyle win number 5 of the year. Huge air. Wow. So it's either going to be Camden Murphy's first or Tyler Menninga's 5th. Tyler Menninga has had more freestyle wins this year than any other competition. Camden Murphy, though, is certainly putting on a show. Also, I lied. Tyler Menninga has more skills wins than freestyle. I forgot that he's been so good in that competition this year, too. It's the only competition he's really struggled in, and not really struggled, but, you know, relative to the other wins that he's had, has been racing. Been very hot and cold this year in racing. Going for the backflip. Camden Murphy couldn't land it last night. Let's see if he can get redemption on the backflip. Over-rotates it. Oh boy, weird bounce, and the truck goes over. That is the end of the run. Camden Murphy and the Bakugan Dragonoid will not snag a win tonight. It's an 8.198, which means that your winner in freestyle is Tyler Menninga in Gravedigger. at a 9.736. An impressive run for him, one of the best of the year, and it snags him a win. Let's take a look at the upcoming commentaries here for the channel. So things did shift around a little bit because I didn't do the El Paso commentary last week. That's why Miami 2022 is tomorrow. We then go to Jacksonville, and then we get back to Stadium Tour Red in 2 weeks, as Seattle 2022 will have one show from that event for Stadium Tour Red. Then we go to Atlanta Speedway, Indianapolis, and then Syracuse, as we will get towards the end of April here for Monster Jam's first half of the year before the Monster Jam World Finals. All roads lead to that Monster Jam World Finals. It is going to be a blast towards the end of May in Orlando, Florida. Can't wait for that, but we still got a long way to go. Plenty of shows in the meantime here right on the channel, so make sure you are keeping up with all of the content. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell to know every time I am posting a commentary here on the channel. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you